I once dreamt that I could fly. A fledgling flight soaring aimlessly, fearlessly. I had the whole world to explore. But in the end, the cage would always find me. Okay, that's a little bit less... Okay, okay. The cage. I was about to say, you know, you having a dream where you're flying, that's a pretty common, pretty relatable thing. That cage part was a bit weird, though. I can't lie, I wasn't expecting that. Let's see here, we got... The sun is rising. Can I still fly? No, but I can jump. Okay. Can I slide? I feel like I should be able to slide down this, you know? Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, if I hold L left trigger, I can slide. Oh, huge jump. And there's the cage, I guess. I think this game's called, like, The King's Bird or something. I haven't played it or seen it before. But to be honest, it feels really good. It controls quite well. And you gain speed very quickly, which is hilarious. I don't know if I can, like, climb up the roof or something. Slide. Oh, right trigger to, like, climb. Oh, there we go. Oh, what the hell? That's busted. You just hold right trigger all the time. Why would I ever not be pressing right trigger? What? At first I was like, oh, this is like a platforming system that might take a lot of skill. Nope. You just hold you just hold right trigger and you go like super fucking fast all over the place. Why would I ever... This seems better than sliding as well. Because you just get speed every time you land. Huh. Okay. Yeah, look at that. Did you see that? I just like climbed up that whole thing just by wall jumping. Imagine all these mechanics with with flight on top of it. This game could get pretty silly, I think. No, I can't. Oh, I got it. I went up. Oh, hell yeah. Can I get up? No. Pretty close, though. Alright, where to next, I guess? Oh, you don't always want to hold right trigger, I guess, because... Oh, there we go. Perfect. Let's see where this takes us. I mean, I can definitely see the reasons not to, but they're also the minority. I'm holding right trigger 99 times out of 100. Give me those wings. Is this going to be like an Icarus thing where if I fly too close, I get... Holy shit, he's got a cage. Oh, what? He just made another one. I'm getting abused. After that guy. Oh, no, wait. Oh, that thing was in the background. He didn't make a new one. There was just one in the background. Wow. So to get past those, I need to get wings, I guess. Good thing I'm like a parkour god. Wait. Parkour god? I've been really enjoying Parkour Civilization lately. I mean, I talked about it before in the one of the other videos. So I won't I won't focus on it heavily in this one, but I just think it's peak. I think it's so well written. I think it's so interesting and so fun. I'm enjoying PvP Civilization. Really looking forward to the next part, because I think, you know, something you don't get if you watch Parkour Civilization all at once is that Evbo is really good at ending the episode on something interesting. Because if you watch Parkour Civilization as the movie and not as the episodes, then you get the answers to your questions right away. But the episodes, they leave you wanting to watch the next one when it comes out. But all of them are out now. I mean, that's kind of interesting because part of the art has to be that, like, you experience it differently if you're in the moment. If I were to read Naruto now, right, I wouldn't get the same experience as someone who read it weekly as it came out. And even if I read a chapter a week until I finished with it, I still wouldn't get the same experience because there's not that, like, cultural impact of the game. Like, people are not, you know, I would be the only one doing that, I guess. Whereas, like, One Piece, if you're reading that now and you're actively reading it, like, part of the kind of art and culture of One Piece is that shared interest and people are making theories and stuff. But more importantly than, like, the theories and stuff, is just the kind of sensibility that we're all in this kind of what's the word? Experience together. We're all in this experience together, right? When Game of Thrones was airing, it was much the same thing. People were constantly talking about it and speculating, and I think part of the reason that I don't, because people, you know, Netflix releases an entire series at once and you're expected to binge it, right? I kind of liked when Squid Game came out because Squid Game was kind of an interesting kind of novel show that that got people talking and got people speculating. The part I didn't like about that release cycle is that it all came out at once. And I know Squid Game 2 is all going to drop at once. But imagine Squid Game was weekly, or imagine it was monthly, right? So over the course of a year, you would experience the story of Squid Game. Do you think that would impact the way that we thought about it and discussed it now? Obviously it would. I think there's no doubt in my mind that it would. And if it were weekly, much the same, although it might not be as big of a difference, but here's the thing, this show kind of blew up out of nowhere. No, I don't think people were really anticipating the release of it so much. But when it did come out, a few people watched it because it was the new thing on Netflix, and then people started talking about it and more people watched it, etc., etc. So on and on until Squid Game blew up into this massively popular thing. Part of the art is the way in which we consume it. Like, my experience with One Piece was very different to the person who's been reading it since it started serialization, because I went into One Piece, I got spoiled about a bunch of things, either through popular culture, right, like certain like major character deaths, or just things that, like, if you're in those kinds of communities, you're bound to be spoiled on. Like, I'm not gonna talk about them in this video. I think it would be stupid for me to say, hey, this is one of the best shows I've ever seen, here's all the spoilers about it, right? So I'm not gonna do that. But the point I'm trying to get across is that you know, you couldn't, that experience that I had, that didn't exist if you were reading it weekly. You couldn't be spoiled. I mean, people read spoilers and leaks and stuff. I don't think that existed back when I I don't know, like Marineford, right? Lots of stuff happens in Marineford. It's one of the biggest arcs of One Piece. One of the most like it's a climax point for the first half of the story, or the first third of the story, if you want to think of the thirds being like the start up to Marineford, and then Marineford up to Wano as being like 2/3 of the, and then the final saga, of course, being the final one. You could think of it like that. I don't know, but my point being, I don't think there were like leaks and spoilers back then. But even if there was, you wouldn't get the same experience being spoiled on what happens in the next chapter as you would if you were being spoiled on what happens 200, 300 chapters from now, right? So it's interesting. I think it's interesting. And there's no, like, correct way to experience most things. Or maybe anything, right? Because, like, some people will be like, this is the way it's meant to be enjoyed. But then there's the whole death of the author argument and blah, blah, blah. Does the author's intention matter? I would say less than some people think, but probably not a zero amount, right? Probably matters a little bit. I think that knowing the artist's intention on some things can help us appreciate certain things better, or understand the story that they're trying to tell, but it doesn't affect what's on the page, right? Like, what's on the page is whatever it is, regardless of what the author says about it, right? Like, I think that's fair to say. But then you also have the whole Word of God thing, right? Like SBS. In One Piece, there's this thing called SBS. In the volume releases of One Piece, importantly, not the weekly releases, Oda answers fan mail and stuff, right? He's answering fan mail, and a lot of the times he confirms things about the canon that are not written in the text. I would not blame anybody for not considering that canon, because it's not in the text. You could argue that SBS is technically part of the text, because if you were to read the volumes, they're in the books, but they're also like something separate from it. I think that's pretty obvious, that despite being in the book, it's like a foreword or something like that. It's not part of the main text, and it wasn't there when the text was written. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I would say enjoy stuff however you like. I'm not super concerned with what an author says about a book if they say it's about this, but I feel like it's about that. You know, that's not a big deal to me, and I'm not gonna, you know, be terribly worried about, oh, I've got the wrong interpretation. I mean, maybe nobody really has that experience. I find it hard to believe somebody's going around trying to figure out what the author meant so that they can have the right interpretation. Because why would you turn, like, media consumption? And by the way, I know that I'm guilty of it. I know I just did it there. I hate how everything's media now. We're talking about art and stuff. We're talking like books. We're talking about TV shows. And it's like, oh, I'm consuming media. It's like, get a grip. You're watching a TV show. Consuming media makes it sound so much more, or so much less organic. Like, it makes it sound like you're consuming a product. It makes it sound the same as, like, you know, you apply deodorant and the fucking deodorant runs out. You know, you got to the end of the TV show and the TV show ran out. I don't like looking at it like that. And I don't know if that's necessarily what people are thinking when they say media consumption, but I certainly don't like the implication that art is there to be consumed and it's just media, because that sucks. I don't like calling art media just so that we can lump it all into this one thing. Like, a TV show's a TV show, and I think calling it media just so that it fits into like a package with all the other medias, like movies, I don't know, it kind of devalues it in a way. I'm not saying you should list off every, but just call it what it is, which is art, right? That feels fine to me. You could argue that, like, media is a more specific thing, but I don't even know if that's really true. I don't know. I think the way that you talk about things influences the way that you think about things. And if you're talking about art as though it is a product to be consumed, then you will probably be treating it as such. And that, you know, not to be prescriptivist about it, I'm not saying that you have to experience art in a particular way, but that does seem like a worse way to experience it to me, and that's just my opinion, obviously. But yeah, also this game's sick. You should definitely give it a try. I had a lot of fun playing this one.